There you are. Just in time, man. You gotta suit up. We got a kaiju downtown tearing shit apart.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my full Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 5 video. There are a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. Things finally really started to go crazy on the show. You remember, this is also one of the reasons why James Gunn released the Superman movie to digital way sooner than normal, just because of everything that's happening through the last couple of episodes. Almost kind of feels like they saved all the good stuff for the back half of the show. By the time we get to the end of the episode, that becomes much clearer because they literally transpose the kaiju fight from the events of the Superman movie into this other alternate Peacemaker universe. So it really does seem like a lot of these Peacemaker things that are going to be happening towards the end of the season would potentially spoil stuff or trample on stuff that happens in the Superman movie. Like, it just wouldn't make sense for people who have not seen the Superman movie yet. Now we kind of wonder if there is a Superman in the other universe and what he looks like if they're redoing some of the events of the Superman movie in this other universe. But the episode title was Back to the Suture, a reference to the movie Back to the Future and all the sutures that Peacemaker is going to need after Rick Flag Sr. messes him up when they arrest him. They start the actual opening scene with a flashback to Rick Flag Jr.'s funeral 3 years ago, also around the same time that Superman in the Superman movie had come out to the public and started saving people around the world. The whole threes thing that they did at the beginning of the Superman movie. There are a lot of people that got stuck on this when I talked about it in a previous episode because they're like, wait a minute, what about the events of the Suicide Squad movie, which are supposed to be canon technically, in Bloodsport's character being in Belle Reve prison because he shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet. That's the whole reason why he wound up there. James Gunn actually explained this. The idea is that not every single thing 100% from the Suicide Squad movie, or both Suicide Squad movies, are canon to the DCU, just some things from those movies. So in the DCU version of the Suicide Squad movie, Bloodsport never fought the David Cornswet version of Superman, never shot him with a kryptonite bullet. If you listen to some of James Gunn's official podcasts for the Peacemaker episodes, he actually digs into this episode to episode through season 1, like what's still canon, what's not canon anymore. There are a couple of things that he's kind of on the fence about, like Batmite. He's like, I don't know if we want to do Batmite, we'll see. But this is meant to be right after the events of the Suicide Squad movie. Rick Flag Sr. references the events of that and Rick Flag Jr.'s death and how Amelia Harcourt isn't allowed to tell him about Peacemaker killing him on Amanda Waller's orders because he didn't learn the truth until present day when he took over Argus and got access to the files. When she says his son loved a lot of women, that's also a reference to Enchantress, who they referenced in a previous episode from the David Ayer Suicide Squad movie, partially canonizing that movie to the DCU as well too. James Gunn having a little bit of fun canonizing a lot of old stuff from the DCEU. My assumption with that, because of the way the original theatrical David Ayer Suicide Squad movie ended, is that in the DCU version of those events now, Enchantress kept her powers after the end of the movie. He lets her know Amanda Waller has it out for her because she was one of the people who acted against her during the Suicide Squad movie, and as a result, put her on the Peacemaker detail for Project Butterfly during the events of Season 1, which she tells him, like, I got put in this crappy detail. This is like right before the events of Peacemaker Season 1. This scene is also to let you know that he cares about her like a daughter, thinks of her as family, even in present day after he learns the truth about Peacemaker and her complicated relationship with him. She also tells him that the person responsible will pay, meaning that she has it out for Peacemaker before she's met him, and that things have gotten more complicated now because of how they bonded during the events of Season 1.
Stay where you are, Smith.
They actually talked about this on the podcast. It's the reason why during Peacemaker Season 1, when they first met, she wanted to kill Peacemaker because she was still on the warpath for him, but they slowly started to bond over the course of Season 1. Since then, they've also hooked up a little bit, it sounds like, but explains why she's so antagonistic towards him and why they feel so complicated right now. She still kind of hates him for killing Rick Flag, but she is starting to warm up to him. Like, she does care about him. I don't know necessarily, though, that at the end of the season, they will actually become a couple. I don't think that that is on the table for them. It kind of seems like what they're foreshadowing is that he'll never get together with Harcourt in the main universe, and eventually he'll just understand that and learn to be good friends with her and be okay with that. Kuperberg Park, where this whole thing goes down at the beginning of the episode, is a name for Paul Kuperberg, who was an editor for DC Comics who worked on the Superman comics and a bunch of other titles too. This whole setup scene at the park with everybody getting ready to actually attack Peacemaker is meant to be just like the similar scene in the Suicide Squad movie when Rick Flag was doing the exact same thing, just like his father is doing now, like father, like son. They also use this for a lot of very comedic moments with the way the camera focuses on funny things. Everybody's codenames being colors also feels like a Reservoir Dogs reference. I also thought it was funny the Judo Master's name was Fuchsia instead of just being Pink, like Steve Buscemi's Mr. Pink, who he complained about a lot during the events of that movie. Also the idea that he wears green and they call him Fuchsia, where like other people seem like they're named for their actual colors that they wear. You notice there's a bunch of super random stuff going on in the background while people are just enjoying their day, like the homeless woman rummaging through the trash with everybody else acting like they don't notice, and then Peacemaker, who actually knows what's going on and just tries to pretend to do a bunch of random stuff while he makes his way slowly to Harcourt, with them treating it like a big joke. Very clearly trying to evade their shots, block their shots, jumping in the dog part, playing with the dogs, playing soccer with the little kids, saying hi to random people that he runs into. Later in the episode, too, he also tells the others that he totally had a way to escape the situation, like I was going to make it out until Harcourt tackled me. Probably not the case, like he definitely would have been shot and killed. But it is funny to see Peacemaker, like this giant dude, try to be super sneaky like this. The whole reason why he came to the meeting, though, knowing that it was a trap, was because he wanted to see if Harcourt actually did have feelings for him, or if she didn't, so that he could actually have an excuse to go to the other universe. Like, he'd stay if she did care about him, and there was a chance for them to have a relationship. Like I said, I think by the end of the season, he will be okay just being friends with her. Like, he'll be cool with them not being a couple. There are a couple moments later in the episode, too, where she's talking to the other 11th Street kids, and Harcourt makes it seem like she doesn't totally understand why Peacemaker is doing this. Like, why did he show up to the meeting if he knew it was a trap? I feel like she's talked to the other group members in previous episodes about his feelings for her, so it seems like maybe she's just blocking that out of her mind right now. When she tells him no, she has zero feelings for him, there is zero chance for them, it's mostly her just pushing him away, but I think also she doesn't have genuine romantic feelings for them and doesn't want to have a relationship with him just because it's too complicated. She'll never be with him, but she does think of him like a friend. So by the end of the season, they will probably just be on the same page with that, like they will both just feel like very close friends. Peacemaker also reveals that he knows all about her secret relationship with Rick Flag Jr., and to his credit, sounds like a pretty understanding dude, like I get it, I understand why you're being like this. When she says Rick Flag Jr. was her only friend, part of the idea is that she was a person that just had zero friends, so Rick Flag Jr. being her friend was even more valuable to her, that part of the relationship, than all the sex stuff on the side. That was just for fun.
I'm afraid if I break up with her, she's going to burrow a hole through the planet.
They move in to arrest him. He absolutely wrecks Agent Klein. You feel kind of bad for him because he uses a human shield and gets tranked. Definitely going to hurt tomorrow. He calls Flurry Shaft, who tries to play it off like a compliment, like, thank you for complimenting me, because that is an amazing compliment. There's a couple real big reveals with Sasha Bordeaux's character in this episode. First, that she's a cyborg. Now, I don't think that makes her a metahuman, but the way that Economos explains it, half of her body is cybernetic, so she's not as fully mechanical as, say, the engineer, whose entire body is made of nanites, but she's meant to give off vibes of the engineer, something similar to that. There are many people inside the DCU that have cybernetic parts. There's also all the ominous flirting between her and Rick Flag Sr. later in the episode. We'll talk about that when we get to that part of the episode, because it does seem like she has some alternate plan here, aside all this stuff. Harcourt winds up saving Peacemaker's life by going rogue and tackling him before she can take a lethal shot. Kinda seems like it's meant to be cathartic for her too, because of the way they cut the episode, like, I'll get the bastard that killed your son, as she's choking him out. They start paying off more jokes about Adebayo's gun magazine and the ad that she puts in it with the whole pyramid scheme. Sounds like the dude that calls the ad is just a pervert and thinks that she's a prostitute, which Vigilante then starts paying off too, which she's not realizing what's going on. Like, what does Greek mean? What is this going on here? She actually made the appointment for 8 p.m. tomorrow. Maybe they'll pay that off with some funny moment or funny twist in a future episode where you find out who the dude is. This is also meant to pay off all the jokes from earlier this season where Vigilante saw Peacemaker have that huge party without him because he didn't think that he was into that kind of stuff, and Vigilante just having facts about a whole bunch of different things, not just animal facts. Apparently he considers himself an ally to all prostitutes, but not their Johns. For a brief second, though, you can tell just because of the way he thinks of things in such a literal manner, he actually thinks that Adebayo is entering this line of work and intends to support her. Not totally clear, but I feel like they're coding the character as being autistic in the way that he just completely like he does not understand sarcasm at all. Red Saint Wild arrives after having seen Eagly using his magic, setting up a big payoff, and Eagly being the most powerful member of the group. James Gunn actually on the official featurette that they did, like the inside the episode for this, said that Eagly is the most powerful member of the 11th Street Kids now. There are a couple of funny moments here between the different 11th Street Kids and all the characters when they haul Peacemaker into actual Argus. Harcourt lies to Sasha Bordeaux about why she blocked her shot, and I love the way that Economos also tries to pretend like he has no idea what's going on or who they are. There's a weird bit where Economos reveals that he hates Sasha Bordeaux so much that he kept a picture of her mangled body pre-cybernetic parts on his phone as a lock screen, which is very sick, like very disturbed. They all need a lot of therapy. Notice while he's also talking about this, behind them there are Argus-themed coffee mugs, which just felt like a very funny background detail. Like, why would they have Argus mugs inside Argus? Like, it just feels weird. They then save Peacemaker's life again by booking him, putting him in the system, so that it's harder for Rick Flag Sr. to actually kill him and get away with it. Really quick but solid action scene between the two of them when he's just beating on him. Frank Grillo does a lot of action movies like this, like he's experienced in doing this in the way that John Cena is experienced in doing a lot of this type of action. Sasha Bordeaux yells at Economos for booking Peacemaker because of what it does to them. Fleury, though, showing his first real nice act, like there's a good dude inside there somewhere, even though he's a dick to everybody else, that he knows why Economos booked him, like it's a good thing you did that. It gives him the same nod the first time they actually met, because that's how Economos said he wanted to be greeted. So part of the idea is that over the season, I think that he's going to slowly mature and stop being so crazy with everybody else. Like he'll end the season the way that Peacemaker ended season 1, being slightly less of a douche.
Hey, how am I supposed to know Munchkin science, man?
Vigilante then saves Eagly's life inadvertently. Also, the Fox kind of saves his life when they leave to get Peacemaker, so the Fox steals the poison rat that Red Saint Wild left for him. And it almost seems like Eagly understands what happened with the poison when he sees the Fox die, and they pay off Eagly being crazy OP when he whips out his giant gun, shoots who he thinks is Eagly, and they reveal that that's not the actual Eagly. Eagly is the actual primal eagle. He does have real superpowers, and a bunch of other eagles come because he's controlling all these other eagles, and they wind up ripping him to pieces. Don't you kind of wonder now, what are Eagly's other powers? Like, this is just the beginning if he's this powerful. But it kind of explains how he made such quick work of Fleury's group in a previous episode. Also kind of explains a lot of his weird behavior too. When Rick Flag is forced to let Peacemaker go, he has Judo Master tail him back to the cabin while eating more Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Notice the steering wheel of his car also looks like it's Flaming Hot Cheetos themed. Then there's that weird moment where Sasha Bordeaux comes to talk to him about beating up Peacemaker, then actually comes on to him and they start flirting. But the music cue that they use for their flirting scene is very ominous sounding, like this is a very bad thing. Later in the episode, when they're driving to Peacemaker's cabin, she also stares at him with this like really ominous look, as if there's some ulterior motive here, and maybe she's doing something shady or like there's something sus about her character. They did not address this in the behind the episode featurette, so maybe this is just the way they played it on set, and that's not actually what's going on with her character, like it's not that complicated, or maybe she is also working some other angle for like a supervillain inside the DCU. Post all your theories about that in the comments below, like is she just coming on to him because she's horny on main, or is she trying to work some other angle here? The document that he was reading when she walked into was all about how the pocket dimensions work. So she might be trying to work some other angle to gain control of the other dimensional technology too. There are a lot of other supervillains, a lot of other powerful people in the DCU that would want their hands on the dimensional key that would give them access to 99 other dimensions. While they're driving to the cabin, Peacemaker thinks Harcourt betrayed him incorrectly, like he's assuming all the wrong things here. Vigilante also sets up the whole bit with his manta ray facts, like he has tons of animal facts, but they also use this for the post-credit scene. Loved all the energy between Flurry and Judo Master too, with them yelling at each other over the phone, calling him Duncan Munchkin, Dunkin' Donuts Wizard of Oz reference, who reveals that a monk in the Himalayas actually taught him a special way to actually rip a dude's dick off. And it does sound real, like he actually does know some special move for this. And you notice Flurry is like totally cool not using nicknames anymore. Like, okay, thank you very much, Judo Master. Just a little bit more of him being slightly nicer to people over the course of the next couple of episodes, probably. You also notice that Flurry clocks Flag cozying up with Sasha Bordeaux, flirting with her, like he just senses that something wrong is going on here. Maybe that will manifest in him helping the 11th Street kids, because the idea that Tim Meadows said in the behind the episode that his character, Flurry, wants to be part of something good, doing something good, and that's what they're trying to tell you, is that Rick Flag is doing this for dishonorable intentions, like he's just doing it for revenge. So it's just more reasons adding up for him to help the 11th Street kids. Peacemaker then decides to pack it up and move to the other dimension permanently, leaving a goodbye note for the 11th Street kids, leaving them the dimensional key, hoping that they'll use it with Rick Flag Sr. to get their jobs back or get promotions, basically just get back in his good graces. Also love the moment with Eagle Eye bringing back Red St. Wild's finger as if he's leaving a present for Peacemaker, like, here, have a piece too, it's yummy. This just meant to pay off the long-running bit that they did during Season 1 where Eagle Eye would bring him dead animals to try and cheer him up. Like, here, have a treat. I found this somewhere.
I'm gonna pretend you found that.
Peacemaker then rigs the dimensional door to close to the pocket dimension once he walks through, but Judo Master follows him through, implying that Judo Master is either now stuck in the pocket dimension or he's already followed him into the other dimension as well, too. Maybe they'll use this to pay off the idea that there are no minorities in the other dimension and Judo Master is an anomaly because he's Asian and everybody's just super racist and tries to arrest or kill him. Maybe Peacemaker winds up helping him. It just seems like Judo Master will wind up in the other dimension with the 11th Street kids in the next episode. You also notice on Adebayo's lock screen, her picture is her dog, and in the other dimension, they close the episode when he starts making it over there and getting ready with Guns N' Roses' November Rain. Haven't heard that song in a little while, but it's a great song. Sees his brother, who tells him there's a kaiju downtown they have to stop. This is meant to be Lex Luthor's kaiju from the events of the Superman movie, implying that Lex Luthor and like the Superman movie events are actually playing out in a similar way with maybe a couple different twists, like instead of the Justice Gang being there to stop it, it's the top trio with his brother and his father. This raises all kinds of questions because if part of the Superman movie is happening in this other universe, is there another Superman over there? What's he like? Is there another Lex Luthor? What is he like? What about the Justice Gang characters? Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, anybody else, other big metahumans? Based on the way that James Gunn has talked about it, he makes it sound like the top trio gang, like his little gang here with his father and his brother, are kind of like the Justice Gang of the other universe. So they're meant to be like A-list heroes in the other universe. You also remember that he wouldn't say where he got all of his weapons and technology from, like his father just got it from somewhere else. James Gunn said that he knows what that story is, but they didn't have time to actually tell it during Peacemaker Season 2, so you're totally free, totally wide open to theorycraft about where he actually got it. Like, is it just throwaways from Orion and its New Gods, Dark Side related stuff? Is he just forcing some other alien creature to create them for him? Sounds like we will not find out this season. Makes up a real quick excuse for why Eagle Eye is there now, like, oh, he's a rescue eagle, he's gonna be my sidekick from now on. It also kind of seems like Eagle Eye understood what just happened and tells him, nice save, like kind of shakes his beak at him like, good job there, lying for us. Adebayo and the 11th Street kids read the goodbye message and all decide that they're gonna try and save him and bring him back using the pocket dimensional key. We get the scene of him flying on their jetpacks with his brother and father and Eagle Eye to fight the kaiju, and they start their plan to actually save him with the key, with them rolling out. Basically, that'll play out during next week's episode. Vigilante also seems really excited to meet another version of himself in the other dimension. Maybe they'll pay that off with some funny twist, or there is no other version of him in the other dimension. I don't think that we've seen a second version of Vigilante in any of the trailers so far. They wind up using Take Me for a Ride by Bad City to close the episode with the credits, just as Peacemaker comes back to Argus in the other dimension in that hardcore after having killed the kaiju in the other universe. And there are a couple of things you notice when they show the news in the other universe. There's the footage of the dead kaiju, just like it got killed during the events of the Superman movie, but on the news ticker, notice that it says authorities around the country are monitoring developing situations. Just feels like they're going to pay that off in the last couple of episodes, like something is brewing in the other universe. Everybody let me know in the comments what you think that is going to wind up being, like what big thing is happening in the other universe in the background. During the post-credit scene this time is just a longer version of Vigilante's Manta Ray facts where he goes on and on. Pancake of the Sea, Manta Ray never forgets. It's actually an elephant never forgets. Burrito-shaped babies. There's a big Taco Bell shout out. And Vigilante still not understanding sarcasm, trying to actually answer Peacemaker. How many times is going to get him to stop talking about Manta Rays?
Can we go to Taco Bell?
What it seems like is going on with episode 6 is the 11th Street kids actually make it to the other universe by the end of the episode and are able to confront him and try to get him to come back, and we start to learn what is actually going on in this other universe. Like, it seems kind of sus, but they haven't really dug into that yet. Also seems like Vigilante has a very, very big room full of drugs and bundles of money, like a lot of money. What is all that for? We will find out in next week's episode. What I'll do is my full Peacemaker episode 6 video will post next week after they release it. There's a bunch of other stuff that's going to be happening too. There's the Alien Earth episode 8 finale, there's Marvel Zombies, and Gen V season 2 just started, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that stuff. Everybody click here for all my Alien Earth episodes, and click here for all my Peacemaker episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.